Firstly, many congratulations to Mithali Raj on a stellar career. Absolutely stellar career. I think the greatest of all careers. Uh, I will divide this retirement tribute into three parts. Firstly, obviously, the statistical part. When you are talking about Mithali Raj and you take a look at those statistics, you just feel this is staggering. I mean, this is quite unbelievable in the sense how can someone firstly look at it. I mean, the longevity of the career of 23 years, 22 plus years, it is quite unbelievable. And when you look at those records, I mean, highest ever run getter in ODIs, 214 at that young age, highest number, double century at number 4. In Taunton, twice leading India into a World Cup final in the 50 over format, 71 50s, 7 consecutive 50s. I mean, you can keep rattling on and on and on about her statistical genius. I mean, and then the number of runs that Mithali Raj has scored at the international level is quite unbelievable. And from where she has scored, from where the Indian game was. She's not born in England and Australia where they had central contracts, whether they had a system for the women's game long time back. It is easier to come through a system and score those runs. Obviously the pay divide, for example. In Australia, it is equal pay. I mean, so there was enough incentive for players there, or even in England, where the facilities for the women's game are far, far better. For someone to be able to score from coming, from that Indian system where practically there was no system till about 5-6 years back, that is what makes this statistical, the humongous number of runs that she scores seem quite surreal. So in my book, she is absolutely the greatest in terms of the number of runs scored and the longevity of her career. So that's the first point that one wants to talk about. Secondly, and according to me, the real legacy is not simply about the run score, not simply about the hundreds or the 50s or the statistical behemoth that she has left us with, but about empowerment. At a time when Mithali Raj burst out into the scene in 1999 and then led that women's team to the World Cup final in 05 and 17, she has actually led the transformation of the game. Today, when she leaves the game as an active player, every other woman who takes to the game or wants to be a Mithali Raj knows that it is a viable career, knows that there is enough and more money, knows that there is enough and more fame. He or she, whoever watches it, watches a star. That's what was not there when Mithali Raj took to the scene. So the real transformative impact, or the real legacy, if I can call it, is where she leaves the game. And she has been singular, obviously along with Chulan, some others together as a team, playing a team sport. But in her own case, she is leaving behind a game which she has enriched as a player, as a performer, and as a leader for a period of 23 years. Today, if you're a young girl, you want to play the sport, there is a career to be made. India is one of the best. India will have a WIPL shortly in the future. Effectively, she is leaving a sport that is stronger, the foundation of which is richer, and most importantly, no longer is there the uncertainty of 1999 or even 2005 when they made the final. Even after the final, they had to travel in unreserved compartments, sitting next to toilets on the floor. If you go and ask Mithali Raj or a Jhulan Goswami, they will tell you that that's how these people have grown up. That's what Mithali Raj stands for, empowerment. She stands for a legion of girls who will now feel empowered. She stands for transformation. Clearly a transformation that has made the women's game far, far more stronger in India. And that, for me, is perhaps her most important legacy. The third point that I want to talk about, when she's sort of leaving the game today as an active player, is the second innings could well be better or at least equal to the richness that the first innings has been. Mithali has a great mind. Having interacted with her for more than a decade, she's a real leader. She can inspire girls. She can take the sport forward. So with the WIPL happening, I absolutely want to see her as coach or mentor going forward, involved with the board, involved with the running of the NCA, involved with a separate wing maybe for women's cricket in the NCA. As an administrator, Mithali has great skills. So clearly, that's the third point I want to make, that Mithali Raj, while she is retiring as an active cricketer, clearly the contribution that she can make to Indian cricket going forward is still huge, because she's one of the best brains. As leader of the Indian team for this stretch, she has seen these girls evolve. She knows the nuances of the game. She knows what the requirements are. So if somebody like that is empowered to lead the women's game forward as it is on the cusp of a revolution now, I think we can get the best. And who better? I don't think there is anybody better than Mithali Raj to be able to do that in the Indian context. So these were the 3 points that I wanted to talk about in this particular tribute to her. And finally, if she comes into the commentary box, she's one of the most erudite, speaks one of the best. Her rendition is absolutely phenomenal. If she comes into the commentary box, even if it is in the short term, maybe during the Commonwealth Games, the broadcaster, whoever has the host, the rights of the Commonwealth Games, should encourage a Mithali Raj into that commentary box, because clearly the broadcast or the experience of us absorbing the women's game will be enriched with somebody like her in that position. Mithali, you've been a great friend. I look forward to reading that autobiography. You've had your ups and downs. You've had a great career. There are shades of grey. You make a great story. So I absolutely look forward to reading that autobiography. I look forward to watching that biopic of yours. And may I once again say, it has been a career that is unrivaled. You retire as the greatest. You have been one of the greatest, not simply in India, but in the world. And no one can take that away from you. In retirement, we celebrate you, champion, because you are one. And millions of Indian girls will look to becoming the next Mithali Raj. That's the kind of inspiration you are, and you are leaving behind a game which is richer and stronger. Many congratulations, Mithali, and wishing you all the very, very, very best. In whatever you do, you will excel, and each of us will.